Hi everyone and welcome back with Math with Mr. Simons. We make math simple and we get you exam ready, right? So in today's lesson, grade 8, algebraic expression, we are looking at the very important concept called substitution. Now in grade 8, it's very basic. It stays basic right through if you take the time to practice it. But substitution is going to be almost in every subject where there's some form of calculation, whether we say maths, physical sciences, life sciences, etc., there will be some form of substitution. So make sure you understand and follow, because a lot of our calculations will involve substitution. Right? So if you're planning to pass and do well, this is one of those processes we have to master as soon as possible. But yeah, it's not a train smash. I know you are able to do this. Right, so for substitution, if A equal 1, B equal 2, and C equal -3, so you see, we tell you what values we have, then we give you an expression. So there 2A plus 3B minus 4C. And a test, can you take this and put it into that equation? 7.2.2, they gave minus 2ABC squared, in brackets, all squared for 3 marks. 7.2.3, A minus B divided by C for 2 marks. Right, then we have a second problem here. Determine a value of each of the following expressions if x equal 1, y equal -2, and z equal 3. 7.2.1, x, y, z for 3 marks. 7.2.2, 2x squared minus 3y plus z for 3 marks. 7.2.3, square root of 3x minus 2y plus 3z for 3 marks. Right, so pause, attempt to answer, take a different color pen, note your errors, right, and practice those errors out of you, right? So let's look at the solutions. Right, so for 7.2, they say if A equal 1, B equal 2, C equal -3. So I've used color here so that you are able to see where I'm putting what value and with the hope that some of us, I know myself, sometimes I can be colorblind. It's just to ensure you understand where what goes. So there the equation or the expression given says 2a. So in the place of this a, I must have -1. There it says 3b. So in the place of this b, I must put 2. And there c is -3, so there -4c. In the place of c, -3. So you see a became 1. B became 2. And c became -3. So I hope there in color you can see what I've done. 1 mark for correct substitution. 2 times 1, 2. 3 times 2, 6. And then negative times negative, I assume you know is positive. So whenever we multiply signs that are the same, it will always be positive. So negative times negative, positive. 4 times 3 gives me 12. 12 plus 6 gives me 18. 18 plus 2 gives me 20. So 1 mark there for correct multiplication of my negatives. And 1 mark for my final answer, 3 marks. 7.2.2 for another 3 marks. All right. They gave us -2abc squared, right? So again, A must be 1. B is 2, so in the place of B there, I place 2. C is -3, so in the place of C, I place -3. All right, I assume you know ABC written like that means A times B times C squared. Right, so yeah. -3 times -3 squared. I'm first solving that. Negative times negative, positive. 3 times 3 gives me 9. -2 times 1, or 2 times 1 gives me 2. So -2 times 2 times 9. So 9 times 2, 18 times -2 would give me -36. And -36 squared becomes 1296. So 1 mark there for correct substitution. Another mark there for understanding that this becomes +9 and not -9. So if the negative is in the bracket and the square is outside, it means negative times negative, which become positive. Right? Don't go make the mistake and write this as -9. So that's where grade 9s lose marks. Then there, 1296, last mark. Alright? 7.2.3, we have A minus B over C. So A there is given as 1, B is 2, and C is minus 3. 1 minus 2 gives me negative 1 over negative 3. Negative divided by negative becomes positive, so that becomes positive 1 over 3. So 1 mark for substitution, 1 mark for correct answer. Right, so I hope we're together so far. Are you following? As I said, I've tried to use color. I hope the color makes it simpler for you so you can see. But let's look at the second problem. Right, determine the value of each of the following expressions if x is 1, y is minus 2, and z is 3. So again, they gave x, y, z. What does x, y, z mean? 3 letters next to it. It means x times y times z. Ne? So x there is positive 1. Y is negative 2. And z is 3. So 3 times 1 is 3 times negative 2 gives me negative 6. 1 mark for correct substitution. 1 mark for the negative sign. And 1 mark for the 6. Alright, sometimes if you write positive 6, we make sure you lose both marks. Because you should understand negative times positive is negative, times positive stays negative. Alright, 7.2.2, 2x squared minus 3y plus z. So they have x squared, so in the place of x, I place 1. Place of y, minus 2, and the place of z, as you can see there in the top, equal 3. 1 times 1 is 1, times 2 gives me 2. Negative times negative becomes positive, and 2 times 3 becomes 6, plus 3. 3 plus 6 gives me 9, and 9 plus 2 gives me 11. If you want to, 2 plus 6 gives me 8. 8 plus 3 gives me 11. 1 mark for multiplication, 1 mark for correct multiplication out, and 1 mark for the correct answer. 7.2.3, we have square root 3x minus 2y plus 3z. So again, x is 1. Y is negative 2, and z equal 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Negative times negative gives me positive. 2 times 2 would give me 4. 3 times 3 would then give me 9. 9 plus 4 is 13. 13 plus 3 gives me 16. And square root of 16 is 4. We assume we know 4 times 4 would give me 16. So again, 1 mark for correct substitution. 1 mark for correct multiplication. And then 1 mark for correct final answer. Right, I hope this has helped you a lot. Leave a like if it does. And please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Right, Maths with Mr. Simons. God bless. Wish you nothing but the best. Bye.